But okay, in short then, what I'm hoping is that at some point or other, some organization comes forward and says, okay, whatever you make of whatever Robin did with the PIElink over the last 10 years or so, there's value in having something or other. It may not necessarily look at all like the current PIElink, but we need somewhere where we can share ideas and thoughts and plan and promote webinars and so on to move towards really being an active, interactive community of practice. And I can't imagine any one single organization that has the breadth to be able to say, we're going to do it, because almost all organizations are focused on homelessness or mental health or housing management or learning difficulties or you know, evaluation or research or whatever. So the only way you could keep the breadth that the PIE idea effectively seems to have would be to have one organization saying, okay, we will do the mechanics of running this stuff, but to have what I call an editorial board, bearing in mind I used to be an editor of a journal, so that's the kind of sort of comparison that I have. To have a board of people, maybe a dozen, 2 dozen, in the same way that an editorial board is usually 1, 2, 3 or 4 dozen in some cases, that are advising on what the issues are, what's happening, what's the content, what are people talking about that we need to address, what's confusing people, what's something has changed, or there's been this brilliant new project that started up in there that's kind of opening up a whole new territory. We had, that kind of liveliness. With an editorial board, I think you could have the breadth while still having one organization taking it on. The alternative is to create a whole new organization with a board of directors with about 8 different representatives from different organizations trying to have that same kind of breadth. And frankly, I just think it's just not doable in the time. And it's a very time-consuming way to do it. So I'm hoping that at some point some organization comes along and says, okay, we need to fill that vacuum. If that organization was a social enterprise, then they would be in a position to look for philanthropic funding from other bodies. There are plenty of other bodies that are only too happy to give, so you could get some funding in to a point or to put some of your current staff working on this for a period. And then in the long run, what I hope is that the abacus starts to bring in income that then means that the thing eventually becomes self-sustaining. So that's the sort of 2-pronged approach. Try and find an organization that says we'd be willing to take it on, provided we've got the support of a broader community of practice, keeping the breadth and keeping the dynamism, keeping the engagement with the real world. So that's effectively one way that I can see it continuing. There may be other ways, but it will be up to somebody else to come up with another suggestion. And at the moment, that's the best that I can imagine aiming for. And that's why I'm starting to say now, this is what I think the future could look like.